feel like it looks like nothing more than a partisan stunt.
What do you think about that notion of this looking like a partisan stunt and nothing more?
Well, if you look at the breakdown of the committee, which would favor Republicans, obviously you've seen that sort of historically on these sort of select committees. But the question moving forward, Torre, is will Democrats participate? And we still do not know that. Now, I've spoke to a lot of Democratic members. They're 50-50 on this. A lot of them feel that what Chuck said is completely accurate, that this is nothing more than a political stunt, that this is something that the GOP is doing to fundraise off of. We shouldn't give it the time of day. There's another school, though, of House Democrats that say, hold on here. One of the things we were able to do on the Oversight Committee is when Darrell Issa was going down these rabbit holes about all sorts of a variety of issues, was have Elijah Cummings there, the ranking member, being able to check him on the spot. Do we want to lose that ability, especially if someone as high up as John Kerry or Hillary Clinton testifies before the committee? Then House Democrats lose the ability to offer those large-scale figures in the Democratic Party cover, especially ahead of Hillary Clinton running in 2016. So it's a very interesting sort of conundrum House Democrats are in right now regarding this select committee. They don't want to acknowledge that it should occur. They think it's a partisan political stunt. But do they participate to save people that could come before it?
Yeah, that's an interesting debate on the Hill, Luke. I think the battle must be joined, even if you think the forum is illegitimate. I think we might be bearing the lead a little bit, though, which is that you're telling us that in your reporting today, you're interviewing or asking questions of John Boehner, and he will not categorically, specifically condemn and rule out the kind of fundraising they're doing off these brave men who died out there. And these are the very people, some of these Republicans, maybe not all House Republicans, but some of them stood up and said, we want to honor these men who died. That's what this is about. And now here we are going towards a select committee where they're putting out fundraising emails saying we need our donors to become, quote, Benghazi watchdogs. It's gross. It's disgusting. And for the members of the House Republican re-elect committee there that are doing that, and any others who aren't willing to condemn it, they are now part of dishonoring these men. And if the Speaker can't say that explicitly and condemn it and make it stop, then we know a heck of a lot about exactly what this committee's up to, and it's gross.
It's an interesting divide within the House GOP conference, Ari, because yesterday on MSNBC's air, Trey Gowdy, the guy who's in fact leading this select committee, said that there should be no fundraising off of it, that it is in fact a solemn effort, an effort designed to find the truth. John Boehner, I asked him twice. Jake Sherman of Politico asked him right after me. He had three occasions, three chances today to say that no, there should be no fundraising done off of this Benghazi. But if you look at what the NRCC does, this is valuable data mining, because people that are going to sign up to be Benghazi watchdogs, those are the people that are surely going to turn out in 2016 that can keep the House in Republican, or 2014 rather, and keep the House in Republican hands. But this is an interesting side issue that it's wise to bring up, is how does this play out moving forward? Because as soon as these fundraising solicitations keep coming out, and the NRCC is not the only one doing it, there's a lot of other groups, what does that give? That gives Democrats a ton of ammo saying this is the only reason why this is happening, and you're going to see that sort of this is all about politics. Some Democrats say, hey, maybe this could turn out into a Bill Clinton 1998 midterm situation where they get so caught up in these side issues that Americans don't care about, they end up losing a few seats or we break even. Hard to see that happening with the gerrymandering and the way it is, but it certainly adds another arsenal to the weapons that House Democrats have against the Select Committee on Benghazi.
Well, and Luke, it seems to me that the type of people who would be signing up to be Benghazi watchdogs, they're going to be voting Republican in 2014 and 2016 anyway. It doesn't seem to me like they need this additional push. And we've seen Republicans in some instances sort of gin up their base about something. The government shutdown would be a perfect example. And then even though they don't really want to, they're sort of pressured by the base and the far right of the party to follow through with a strategy that they know is really quite foolhardy. Is this a situation where the base is driving the bus and the Republican leadership doesn't actually think that they are benefiting politically from going forward with yet another committee investigation into Benghazi? Or is the Republican leadership really thinking that this is a good thing for them politically going into the midterms?
It's an interesting question, Crystal, and here's what I will tell you. If you go back to the beginning of April, John Boehner on Fox News says there's no need to have a special committee on Benghazi, even though over 180 members of his House conference were calling for it. Basically saying that let the committees that have started their work finish their work. Then, after the release of those newer emails by that outside group that brought him forward, specifically Ben Rhodes, saying, let's make sure this is not a failure of administration policy, John Boehner felt slighted by that. He felt the administration was trying to cover something up, and that's why he realized there was a lot of folks in his conference that wanted the red meat. He let it move forward. Now, all that being said, though, Crystal, if you talk to aides privately, they realize this is a dangerous, potentially dangerous strategy if they get too wrapped up on this. Not to mention, it allows for some of their more outspoken members to get a lot of possible national TV time. And imagine one of these members, although John Boehner is going to select them to put on this committee, if there is a very contentious back and forth with Hillary Clinton, that can always blow up in their face. So I would say that if you poll GOP leadership aides right now, and aides are close to the process, the majority of them would say maybe this is not the best way to go, but they realize that after those emails that happened recently, they really have no other choice. So at the end of the day, the base always drives.
As long as they can get on TV and raise money, that's the key.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
That actually hurts legitimacy. But Luke, you're in the thick of things. It sounds like this is just the beginning, so hold on tight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Take it easy, guys. Be well.